What a scam, just wait and watch your opponent dying. That's how Russell plays. It's like, your opponent has to do something. It's their problem. That sounds like a you problem, bad guy. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. It's time for another streaming weekend, and of course, as always, we're jumping into some Phobies, so let's get to it. I see chat is already getting pretty lively. You like that transition, chat? You like the new transition? I just added that this week. I was, once again, not feeling great, so as I was sitting there wanting to play some games, Phobies included, and just, you ever want to play a game and then just don't feel good enough? Not even necessarily a game that's mentally taxing like Phobies is. Phobies is a game that I feel you really do need to, you got to be focused when you're playing if your goal is to win. If you're just screwing around, then whatever. But the problem is that I just didn't have the energy to really play anything. It's just, I don't know, this fall / beginning of winter, as we transition towards winter, I guess, the weather's just been screwy. Real talk, like the last 2 or 3 days, it's gone from 80 degrees to 30 degrees to 80 degrees. And then now, because of the remnants of the hurricane, it's pouring. So it's been all over the place. It's been all over the place. Sometimes you want a game, you want to press one button and have fun with that. Yeah, legitimately, Hakunay, I have had moments like that where, and that's, I mean, this is a Phobies-related discussion that we can talk about. Let me see. This is okay. I got to work on this overlay some more. This particular overlay, but I was trying to use it so that way, if I have something where I want to talk more, but it's obviously about Phobies, I can leave it up there or whatever the game is, but then there's more of me. I like seeing me. Be a little vain there. But in all seriousness, sometimes there are games, or I'm just in a mood where I want to play a certain type of game, and I honestly feel that this is where I wonder if I'm sure I'm not the only person with this opinion. But if I'm fine with a game presenting a specific experience, and that is what it does, and it does it well. So, for example, Phobies is a very strategic, very tactical, very cerebral game. But there are times where, you know what, I'm not in the mood to do that. And that's not a knock against Phobies, and that's why it's unfortunate the way just economic forces work, is that you can't necessarily keep a business. See, there's no Lippy. There's no Lippy. Even though I'm interrupting myself to talk about no Lippy, because shout out to the devs for the patch. But there are times where I just want to play a shooter, so I'll play Gears. There are times where I want to play a fighting game, so I'll play Mortal Kombat. There are times where or For Honor has been the latest one. There are times where I want to play chess, basically, and I'm playing Phobies, that sort of thing. And I think it's okay. The problem is that real-world economics dictate that all of these games need to be pushing you to be engaged with their particular foothold in your consciousness of your time as much as they humanly can, or they can't keep their lights on. And that's the reality of the situation. I would love if, as I mentioned before, the WoW attitude, like years ago, if you're not comfortable with the game, that's fine. Don't play, and we'll be here when you come back. And this is not a knock against Phobies, but there are tons of games where that's just not necessarily true. Like, you may not actually be able to come back to the game because the game just, poof, gonna disappear into thin air. And that is also the case. Notably, the music drops out when Lippy shows up, but it is what it is. I sacrificed my 3.0 to kill Dragon's Snowball. Oh no, Hakunay. Did it win you the game off the back of that? Your review is first on the list. Probably not going to do any reviews, but there's only 2 on the list, Doge. So, like, I mean, we could do them, but right now there's not necessarily, like, big urgency. to my knowledge, there's no patch coming that could break them, so. Quick aside, everybody, before we get into the actual content, I was accepted into the Phobies Content Affiliate Program, the content creator program, you might call it. Shout out to the Phobies team, and thank you for that. But the reason I'm telling you, everybody out there, dear viewer, dear listener, is to let everybody know that I do receive some compensation from the Phobies team as a result of being part of that program. Now, I loved Phobies before, and I still love Phobies now, and I expect I will still continue to love Phobies in the future, so look forward to more Phobies content coming from Random's Thoughts. So now, on with the show. Is it just me, or am I mad that Repeller and Attractor didn't get a longer ability cooldown? They knew 2.0 would be unfair if it was on a one-turn cooldown, so it's 2. So, you have to wonder with those, and I meant to add this as a command on the bot, but you can check out the video for my longer thoughts on it that went up live today. I recorded it offline, so if you're watching the stream, no, I didn't. If you're watching the stream, you know, normally a lot of it's rehash, and I understand why people don't necessarily then rewatch the YouTube video, but this one was recorded offline, so obviously you haven't seen it, but too long didn't watch, so I'm giving you a reason not to watch it, which is dumb, but I did do a fairly lengthy monologue, we'll say, about, did do a fairly lengthy monologue about things that could have been patched, and my 2.5 phobies that should have been patched are Stabby, Slash, Bone Mangles, and Attractor. I don't think Repeller is as bad. It's certainly up there, like that would probably be within the top 10, maybe top 5 of things that need to get changed. I can appreciate that the team started with 2.0, Evo 2.0, and then said, hey, Evo 2.0 is working out at the level they were expecting or under the level they were expecting, and then created Repeller and said, okay, well, Repeller is going to be the new Evo 2.0. Obviously, there's a lot of differences, but you get where I'm going with it. And they're okay with crowd control being on a one-turn cooldown. I'm not going to say I agree, but as I said in the video, there are way, way more data points that they have than we do, so I'm on bad sushi. And I'm on a horse. I couldn't remember exactly. I had a different opener for the video because I had notes, because I thought of the Old Spice joke in the shower before I was recording it, and then I recorded the whole thing and then never made the joke. So I skipped the old intro, or I cut the old intro, and then added that as the intro because it was, I thought, like, I have to have this joke because it, as I said in the video, I don't know why it made me think of it, but it really did. Last video was edited greatly. I appreciate that, Hakunay. Somebody else had mentioned that on the comments on the video. I do want to do more videos like that, but as you'd imagine, the editing for that compared to what I do for the streams, which is already time intensive, but that's just because of the length of the video. I probably spent like 10 or 12 hours over the course of 2 days getting that video recorded and edited, and then getting the different clips and stuff like that, like having to hunt around for them, re-download videos where I was pulling them from, stuff like that. I'm not saying that for sympathy, but it's more, I would like to do more videos like that, but A, it's difficult. I'm knocking things over on my desk. And B, the other challenge is I don't know that I can really do that on a regular basis right now. The game plan is next year, the new YouTube plan will be less stream recaps like I do now, and more of those videos, but probably like once a week or once every other week, something like that. I will greatly reduce the amount of YouTube stuff. Unless, and let me know down in the comments, YouTube, or anybody in chat, let me know there in the Discord, do you like seeing the recaps? Do you want to see more of that stuff? Which would you prefer? That sort of thing. I always think that a genuine balancement should be Repeller and Attractor at 0 attack ability, strong enough to speak for itself. I don't know about that. I think they need to do damage, but I could see the damage being nerfed. And this is a discussion that I, again, brought up in the video, but it's worth talking about here. By the time this goes up live on YouTube, it'll already have been probably several weeks since this video went up. I want to know why it's... like, why are they only changing health and damage? They've made no other changes. They've never changed a movement, which is, I assume all 4 of these stats are together, right? But as far as these things go, I don't know why only health and attack are getting changed. Obviously, what I'm assuming, and I don't know this for sure, but I'm assuming movement and range are also on this card. Now, those would be drastic things to change. Don't get me wrong, but they could be changed. Similarly, I'm assuming, but I don't know, that the cooldown, the warm-up, and obviously the damage and range on these things. And we do have examples. For example, if they wanted to change the damage on Repeller's crowd control, the ability, we do have examples where this isn't the same as this. Now, it's easy to have that, and I like it when it's clean like this, but maybe there are phobies that warrant it, or there will be phobies that warrant it. It's just interesting to me that they are choosing not to balance with these other levers, these other buttons, these other knobs, and solely doing it with damage and health. I mean, it's easier to change. I agree with you, Hakunay, and like maybe whatever graph they have to figure out the budget for each of the stats is easier to determine for this, but I don't know. Got an unrelated question, but hear about Mick Gordon's drama? No. Should I Google this, or am I going to be concerned? Oh, this is the Doom guy? I heard about it, but I don't know the details. Like, I saw it in passing, and honestly, my Twitter feed has been drowned out by Elon Musk being a colossal dipshit. Like, colossal. So, I see it periodically, and then it gets drowned out, and I didn't get to follow up on it. Something about not getting paid for like a year of him making amazing OSTs. That's real bad. Just been playing Escape Darkness and Super Punch. I don't know what Escape from the Darkness is. It's a low woolly bully. Have you used any debuffers lately? I actually have not. I have not, and I should have leveled this up. They've kind of fallen by the wayside. This is the problem, or one of the problems with the Phobies leveling system, is when I go to level, it's kind of, well, what have I used lately? And I look for those first. And it's frequently, you know, the jars, the murder wings, the turrets, the cassowaries, that sort of thing, the regulars. And then the things that don't get leveled fall behind, so therefore I use them less, and therefore I forget about them for the next time that I go to level up, and then they never get caught up. So it's tough. I know it's a stupid thing that's not technically on the system, that's on me, but it's still confusing. Well, not confusing, but it still messes with me. They offered a six-figure sum to not tell anyone. He said, nah, I'm told. I mean, if the guy's got money and he could, I don't blame him. There are certainly people where I wouldn't necessarily blame them for taking the money because it's like they need the money, you know what I mean? But good for him for standing up because that's bullshit. If you change range, movement, / cooldown, then you have to change its stats regardless as well. In the end, maybe even their key cost. Well, keys is another thing. I didn't mention that earlier, but keys is another thing. In such case, we have a completely new phobie. I'd agree. But you could make the argument that simply changing, like, what's the goal? It's not necessarily to minimize changes, although that is an admirable component of modifying and balancing phobies. But the big thing is, you want the phobie to be where it quote-unquote should be. And if that's the case, I think you need to take into account literally everything on the card. Whether it's the phobie type, the cost, the stats, the range, the abilities, the damage, it doesn't matter. To me, everything's on the table. So I'm curious, obviously the team either feels that it's sufficient to just change this stuff, or those other things are not on the table. And I'm curious which it is. Whichever one is fine, because it's how they want to do it, but I'm very curious. Escape the Darkness is a Roblox game. It's similar to Dead by Daylight, but there's a difference. Okay. But on the topic of nerfs, Hearthstone refused to do nerfs for a long time, and when they change mana cost, by far the most effective, but it's difficult to do. The making it hard OP or literally unplayable. I agree. And I'm not saying that we should have made Beauty a 10 key or something like that. But I think it should be on the table for something that could be done. You know what I mean? Can't believe Unicorn isn't favorited. I use it a lot, but not like a ton. Plus, I also haven't modified the favorites in, no joke, like 4 months, I think. Maybe Snowball got added and like that was the last thing. I'm down to only 10 phobies with upgrades available, but each of those go up 3 or 4 levels if I had the XP. I think most people, well, clicked on the wrong thing. I think most people are going to be in the same position as me, where a lot of things are just going to be sitting here with upgrades, and eventually we're all going to get there, right? Unless you're paying a ton of money. I don't know. Without the crafting system, nerfs buffs are weird, like not having a refund if you delete the effectiveness of my phobie. That does suck. And I'm a little surprised that they don't have something. I mentioned it in the video, but one of the first things that came up in my Discord, I don't remember who said it, but somebody goes, man, my beauty sucks now. Now, I also said this in the video, but that's up for debate. We don't know. Beauty is clearly worse, but does beauty suck? That might be a little extreme. I don't know. Point is that beauty is different. That's absolutely undeniably true, and it's undeniably worse. How much worse, we don't know, and I don't know, it's interesting to me. It's very interesting to me, and it would be nice if they had some sort of compensation for people who had this, but beauty at least isn't as bad as Russell. Russell got a buff. And I agree, beauty is still probably more universally useful than Russell, but that doesn't mean, I mean, again, not to beat a dead horse, but I mentioned in the video, Russell's been putting in work for me. I was able to upgrade everything thanks to XP boost. Now I stopped and started having some upgrades in the waiting list. I don't know. There's some phobies that, don't get me wrong, I want to get all the phobies max level, but I don't know if I'm ever going to care about, and Onda's going to hate me for this, but like, Kerbloom, I don't know. Russell's poison is still worthless. You have to engineer a scenario. I think Russell has like half a hoop too far to jump through to make it really useful, but Russell goes back to Luffy's point, similar to Hearthstone and other games. If you try and balance this, Russell is right on that razor-thin line of, if you make it much stronger, I really think Russell's going to be oppressively powerful. Like, you will, and again, broken record, this was in the video, but if you have Russell that is good in scenarios where your opponent can answer it, so they have a Muffin, they have a Clinico, they have Dr. Dermic, whatever, and there's a healing spot, and Russell's good there, imagine how much more oppressive Russell will be if those resources are not available. Russell would be one of the scariest phobies in the game. And I don't know that Russell being the scariest phobia in the game is healthy. I really don't know if you can make Russell much better, honestly. There might be a higher poison level that is okay, but I'm not sure there is. I'd have to sit and really think about it, do a bunch of math that I'm not going to do realistically. You might be able to increase it, but again, Russell is a good example of the team has been buffing the attack and the health. They have not touched abilities. Poison has to be mediocre. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think disease has to be mediocre. I think poison can be stronger. I think the Caw is unique because of what it does. For example, if Sheep's poison got buffed, is that really a serious problem? Almost assuredly not. Does it need to get buffed? No. But if Sheep did 1,000 poison damage, I don't know that it matters. Yeah, that's why I agree with you, Hakunay. I think the Caw is unique, but poison in general is a different story. Russell's obnoxious for 3 keys more and his output is less than stellar. The thing is I don't think that Russell needs to be... So, there are phobies like these 3, all the 9 keys. I don't remember what the other 9 key is. Do we know what the other 9 key is? But whatever, we'll put that aside. These 9 keys, some of the 8 keys, some of the 7 keys are, I could play this every game, assuming you have the keys available, and it's a reasonable play. I think it's absolutely fine to have Russell be one of those niche players, those special teams players, that they come in and they dominate or put in a lot of work in a unique scenario. Oh yeah, Akira's 9. I thought Akira was 8, actually, in my head, but so it's 9, whatever. I think it's fine if Russell's best case scenario is it's a map without a healing spa, obviously, we're talking a poison phobia, and then they're maxed out. Your opponent ever maxes out and you go, windmill slam Russell, take over the game. Honestly though, I see you use Russell more than Doughzer. I have something for you then, Doge. I'll be talking about that in a minute. But yeah, I think it's fine that some of the, like, High Five. I think it's fine that high five doesn't show up in every freaking game, whereas boss comes up more frequently. I know somebody asked me about Mildred. I like Mildred, but I think Mildred is also one of these niche players. It's not necessarily a phobie that I'm going to bank to 8 every game that I can to get Mildred online. It's going to be, I want Mildred in whatever the scenario for Mildred is. I haven't really thought about it. Probably, if I can bank to 8 on Phobopolis, I probably want Mildred. It's a lobber. It does 1 billion damage. Things are going to be clustered, you know. Russell's not OP, but so the scenario that I've been working on, Luffy, is basically you let your opponent max out, specifically so that they can't get healing phobies. And then you poison their whole team and then just pull back. Let the poison tick for like 3 or 4 turns. They may or may not recap points. You have to be in a position where, you know, you're not going to die if they recap a bunch of points. And then if they invade into you, you just kill their guys anyway because they're getting softened up. So what'll typically happen is on these bigger maps, somebody will, you know, they'll get a Chuck online, some other big undeads, that sort of thing. I pop out Russell and go, all right, I'm going to walk backwards. I'll just start moonwalking and you got to come into me. Either I blow you up or you die to the poison. Among all 8 keys, Barzilla's the 2 normal one. Absolutely. Barzilla's just, I'm a big dummy that torches stuff good. Mildred is basically the attacking brony. I don't like it nearly as much. Mildred, part of it is it's the animation. It's just for funsies sort of thing. But yeah, as far as Doughzer goes, so I actually leveled up Doughzer offline. So I leveled it up as far as I could go to 11. I was thinking about it today, again, in the shower. I'm one of those people that has a lot of shower thoughts, chat. Let me know if you're one of those people. Because I tend to, like, come up with a lot of stuff. I'm not one of those people who sits on the crapper and comes up with ideas. I'm usually in the shower and I'm like, oh, that's an idea. I hope I remember this by the time I get dry. Gotta shower more often to improve at games? It's true. It's true. See, that's the key to being an actually top-tier gamer. Make sure you shower. No, I'm not kidding. Please, for the love of God, if we ever go back to going to conventions, people, please, shower, deodorant, for the love of Christ. Yeti is an ultra rare 130. Yeah, that's true. When you see Doughzer's stat, you should think in the shower. Wait, what? I'm sure there's an implication there, Hakunay, but I'm not sure what you're getting at there. So, the reason I was thinking about Doughzer is I was thinking about other high-end phobies, other high-cost phobies, similar to Russell, and I'm like, well, are there other ones? And Doughzer was the first one that came to mind, that we could try and find ways to make it work. Honestly, what came to me was that Doughzer, I think, really wants to be on small maps. I think Doughzer wants to be on a small map. Like, picture Doughzer on Home Sweet Home. Or Biff's Room. And the supplements for it, I think, would be leaping phobies. So the idea would be, say you get Doughzer here. You freeze their big thing. You can leap in with, say, you know, a primate or whatever, assuming it's in range and ready to go, and then walk away if you need to. So that, you know, if you froze and by when I'm saying freeze, obviously, it's stop moving, not literally freeze. You stop sign, you road cone something, you leap in, you can walk away so they're safe. Doughzer tanks hits. Doughzer is an enormous turret. It's going to be super hard. Put Doughzer in the middle of the new map, the one with the big free space in the middle. You mean this one? I don't know. This map actually plays really fast. I have some async games going offline that it's actually playing out very quickly, like a lot of damage on the heart quickly. But yeah, I don't know. This was just my initial theory crafting on this. I don't know exactly where Doughzer fits in. I'd like to find use for it. And my first thought, like I said, was with leaping phobies. The problem is I think that a lot of people, or not a lot of people, a lot of it is going to come down to, oh, well, I'm going to have to open turrets again. Then I bank, and then I put Doughzer. And the question is, well, if I could get Doughzer, why wouldn't I just wait for Evo 3.0? I don't know. Hey, Kraos, what's good? People rush in the map? And no, not rush the heart, just like, I don't know what the heart health is on this map, but it feels like the heart gets damaged way more quickly. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention because it was async, and I was just allowing or had already capped a whole lot of points, and people just weren't recapping them easily. But it felt like the pressure on the heart was very quick. Yeah, this is one of the new maps, Kraus. I feel like Edgar could be less passive than Russell. It almost has double the HP. Yeah, that's probably true. I didn't realize the HP difference was that big. Doge. I drive like 10 hours a day for work. That's where all my theory crafting comes from. It's helped me so much over the years between WoW, Hearthstone, and League. I can see that, Luffy. If you have a lot of downtime where you can let the gray matter roll around a little bit. Sure, when Phobies was making Edgar, they looked at Russell and said, how can we do this again and not screw it up? Well, honestly, I think there's a lot of Phobies. You know, we talked about the Hevo 2.0 Repeller comparison earlier. That, similar to card games, there's going to be power creep. Like, there's just going to be. Whether the team intends it or not. And I'm confident that this has come up. But there's going to be power creep at some stage. Even if you assume that it doesn't exist already. Is this the only one of the new ones? No. We have Always Watching. We have the Once Lore, and we have, that's not it, Megalo. So there are new maps of both sizes, and they are added to the bot that was requested by Onda. I just didn't get the chance to until he had reminded me. So let's jump into the arena, chat. Speaking of which, we do end up on one of the new maps. So we're on Megalo. I think I actually have a async game against Onda on this map, but I don't know exactly what I want to do yet. 2, 3, 4. You can do 1, 2, 3. Yeah. What I opened in the async game, and it's literally only one turn so far, is, and I'm going second, Snowball plus 1 drop. I don't know if that's a good idea. From the top of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks of how the Lorax is lifted away. What? I would Razor and Unicorn down. I think that's reasonable. So, Chad, I was watching a Marvel Snap stream, and they had a cool... we'll try Hakunay's opener. Might as well give it a shot. They had a cool bot. It's mostly for Magic cards, where it basically allowed you to do, like, the Phobie Finder bot, but in Twitch chat. Oh, the Once Lore? Okay. I haven't read the Lorax in a long, long time. Although it's interesting, isn't the Once Lore like one of the trash maps? As in, it kind of looks like whatever Rent Past Due is now called. You know what I mean? Like Raining Worms maps. And then maybe Bow, Stabby, following Unicorn. Yeah, I was probably going to do that. If we're doing standard openers, I think this is reasonable. Into a 3-cost turret, into an Oculus sort of thing. Yeah, it's the brown color scheme. I figured that. That makes sense. That guy banked a 5. So the question is, do we take this? I don't think we do, and the reason for that is... they're just going to walk in and, like, they're going to kill this possibly with, like, Jar and Bow Mangles, and then just walk this on, so there's no point. Keep the upper part free for fast lobbers. What fast lobbers are there, Spud? I guess Jar. Glad I got Pterodactyl, but I need that in Oculus. It's a pretty big deal. So they followed up with Baba Yaga. That's very interesting. Yeah, the Baba's very interesting. Burnt your pork chops? No, wait, in the air fryer? I don't even know if the air fryer we have is big enough to fit a pork chop in. We have an itty-bitty one. It's Baba Haha, chat. We haven't seen one of those in a while. It's been a bit of time. It's been a little bit of time. That could be a good thing or a bad thing, Luffy. Like, there are things that are worth spending money on, like your bed, your shoes. I'm of the opinion kitchen stuff. My wife and I were talking about, wait, are these tiles you can occupy down here? I didn't notice before. My wife and I were talking about this, and I forget why it came up, but she said, man, I hate that I like this, whatever we had, this is a while ago, like whatever we had just bought. I'm like, no, they're not occupiable. Okay. And I just said, it's okay. There are things worth spending money on. And in my opinion, kitchen stuff is one of them. So they put a trap somewhere. They were here. Next, they're going to play Doughzer. See, Keurigs are not worth it, though. Keurigs are not worth it, though. The amount of effort and time that's saved, I don't think is worth it for how much more the little cups cost than just getting coffee. Backup innocuous can die. If they do, I think we take a lot of stuff with it. Use our Keurig plenty to make it worth it. I mean, that's fair if you do. Okay, so they clearly put something here. I'm gonna try and bank for... Well, I am banking for Doughzer. We'll see what they go for. You got targeted by the slasher and escaped the darkness. Womp wah. I was watching Dead by Daylight stuff to try and see if I wanted to stream it, but honestly, chat, it seems kind of boring. I think this is off cooldown. Okay, so they went Hevo. I could have put a trap down, but I screwed it up. How do I stop their Hevo, though? I don't think we can, like, I don't think it's worth going Doughzer. No, if I break the trap, it just goes off. So, like, I couldn't have saved myself there by playing a trap. It would have just gone off and I'd just lose it. Easy Rocket Man into this? I mean, I don't know. Good old Erratic? I kind of want to go Oopsie Baby. We're not going to, but I want to. This is gonna entice them. They may just come in. If they do, I think we can blow them up. Well, we're not gonna kill them this turn, but we're gonna put a hurt on them. I'm starting to see why you don't have corn favorited. So they could just kill this, and we trade it out for, like, whichever one of these actually fights it. Boogie Boogie Baby. I played it for the first time in an async game earlier today. Like, it was actually on one of the other new maps, the orange one that looks like one with all the eyeballs. One with all the eyeballs. So they were where? Here? Would they have put a trap here? I don't know. They might have. If they did, we probably just lose, kind of thing. They can still kill the Innocuous, but they have to walk the Hevo into here. Which, the Evo's 100% dead then. If they do that. Yeah, if you want this, you have to kill it the hard way. Alright, there's the inevitable Clinico. Dude, you can't leave this in range. Oh no, bad guy, are you really gonna do this? Oh, I have bad news for you. Yeah, you don't want to do that. You're gonna have a bad day. Alright, that's fair. Get the body block. I don't think that's a good idea. Oh, okay, okay. Alright, I see you. Real talk, Chad, I want to go, I want to go Doughzer here, but we're not going to. We got a little Sparky action. If they want to come in with Hevo, they have to come in. Stampy's the only thing that hits the Hevo and it's almost dead. Well, if they left it the way it was, like, they were going to be in bad, bad shape. Alligator would have been good here too, DT. I agree with you. Believe me, Chad, I wanted the Doughzer. I wanted the Doughzer. So there's going to be a trap here or on the Innocuous. I don't think we can kill this Hevo. No, we're gonna go here. Yeah, the Evo's getting in there. So we back up here. I imagine there's a trap here, but I don't think they have enough damage to actually kill my stuff at this stage. We might go for, oh, there's no trap, so that means they put it here or on the panic point. They might have put it down here. Like one of these three spots. I doubt they put it in front of them. It's going to be a big trap, if it ever connects. There's a non-zero chance that I'll go Muffin. Maybe it would have been better if I Muffined here, because this could just come in. But if they do, that thing is right here. So they're just dead? You die in flames or you die in flames. There's a hidden secret ending if you get ever collectible where you don't die in flames. I understand what you're trying to communicate, Scrungle. I think you Muffin or Undead 1 key. Yeah, we're gonna... Well, I mean, at this point, we probably won't have to do anything because it looks like we tilted our opponent, but... I'm okay with that. We did okay. We almost got the Doughzer game, chat. How weird is it that we got a 7 key and almost an 8 key? The only reason I didn't go Doughzer is because I wanted one more key for a 1 key. And I think that's... How do I miss a Y 2 times in a row? It happens. Now we just wait for our opponent. This is the part where they smash their PC. They just throw their phone in the toilet. So mad. Alt F4 gaming. Exactly. Exactly. This guy is upset. Are we looking at God of War Ragnarok or not? I've never played a God of War game. I don't even know if I'm able to, because isn't it a PlayStation exclusive? I gotta take a break after this game, chat, but remind me when I get back to talk about future variety stuff. God of War is available on Steam, Ragnarok maybe in a few years. That's kind of what I figured. The first one of the Nordic story is still amazing. Yeah. It won a lot of awards. Alright. I mean, I'm not saying like the games are bad or something. I've just never played one. I've never had a PlayStation. We've talked about that before. On my way to be a silly little guy. Alright. I mean, I don't have a problem playing those games. They seem interesting, but I I'm not buying a PlayStation just to play God of War. Oh, yeah, that was a mistake, Luffy. When Blizzard did that, I mean, Blizzard made a lot of mistakes, but GG. GG, bad guy. Next week, the new Pokemon games come out. And obviously, we're getting one, my wife and I. The Pokemon games are coming out. I will absolutely be playing them for variety. So I'm soliciting ideas for how people want to do this. I'm somewhat interested in potentially doing a Nuzlocke run, maybe naming Pokemon after chat and be like, okay, well, it's a X amount of channel points redemption to get a Pokemon named after you. And if you do that, then you go on to the team, sort of thing. Or, you know, so we'll figure something out, something like that. So that way, if there's a whole bunch of people like we did for Cult of the Lamb, that it isn't, oh, well, it's these same people are rotated in. Now, as being a Nuzlocke run, if somebody dies, because the way it works is if a Pokemon ever faints, they're 100% dead, you have to release them, you can never use that Pokemon again. Maybe that'll keep the rotation up, I don't know, I've never done one of those. But one of the other questions I had, aside from suggestions along those fronts, like would people even be interested in that, is would people be interested if I took one of the main Phobie days, so say a Friday or a Saturday, and did that? So we'd only do 2 Phobie days, and then we'd essentially be doing 2 variety days for a few weeks. Because otherwise, I think if I'm playing it for like an hour a stream, even a Pokemon game, it's going to take forever to finish. What? So today, one of the strangest things happened. I figured you'd appreciate the absurdity of this. My roommate was taking a shower and it wasn't draining properly, so he called maintenance to get it unclogged. There were 2 frogs in the pipe, little baby frogs. No clue how they got there, but I blame it on global warming. I assume they were not live frogs, were they? I have to imagine that the frogs drowned. And it's possible they could have come in the pipes, I mean, depending on how old the pipes are or something, like, from just about anywhere? Or they could have, like, I don't know how they would get stuck if you had, like, a shower drain cover on it, though. Like, hypothetically, they could sneak in the building the same way any vermin would, you know what I mean? Tramples and Rambolina were living in the shower. Well, the babies, anyway. That's pretty messed up, Atona. That's pretty messed up. But yeah, chat, let me know what your opinions are on the Pokemon stuff, how you think I should do it or not do it, and we'll kind of play it by ear. I will absolutely be playing it for variety, and we'll kind of go from there. But there's a lot of variety games that I've talked about getting on stream. I actually want to do some videos offline for Dragon Evo, and Mythgard, and a couple other games. But I don't know, we'll see. I like the idea of Pokemon playthrough not taking 18 years of streaming, so yeah, an extra day for that. I think it might be worth it. Now, am I getting Violet or Violet? Well, we're getting Violet, but it was my decision was not. I thought that was actually one of those, like, well, which is the best Pokemon version, and why is it Violet? My wife wants Violet. I don't know which exclusives are with each, but it doesn't matter anymore, because you can trade online, so it's like whatever. You're building your undead army in Dark Power. So there's actually a variety game called The Unliving that I'm excited about, where you play as a necromancer. Seems very similar to another game that I played in the last year or so that I forget the name of. But yeah. Wife has the last word. I mean, yes. Especially, like, I'm going to trade for the Pokemon that I actually want. I don't care. I suppose if nobody bought Scarlet, you might get locked out of exclusives. And obviously that won't happen, but even if it did, by some stroke of whatever, I imagine the Pokemon Company will release the other exclusives through events somehow. Because they've done that in the past, where the legendary Pokemon or whatever for each version have come out through other means. It would take a while, but I'm pretty sure that's happened. I love Rotom, I love that he turns into stuff. Does he really? Thought he was just like the phone-looking thing. You got ads, what did you miss? Not much, Taco. We're just talking about Pokemon. I don't know. We'll definitely be doing it. We'll have to see. Like I said, I want to do other videos offline, so let me know what people's thoughts are. I know some people have commented about the video that I uploaded today for Phobies, because that was not done on stream. and people like the editing. I would like to do more of that, but I don't know how many more of those I can do this year. 2023 is when I plan on doing more of that. But I also want to ratchet back just uploading the streams. If people prefer to see the streams rather than that video, or they want both or whatever, let me know. Because right now it's hard to interpret the analytics on YouTube's side because it seems like people, I don't know. We'll see in a couple weeks once, you know, a lot of the videos have a longer tail where, yeah, it gets however many hundred or hundreds of views the first day, and then it'll pick up a couple hundred more over time, which is not a lot in the grand scheme of YouTube things, but it's tough to tell what do people like, what do they don't, when everybody says do shorter form stuff, but then the streams are crushing the shorter form stuff from a views perspective. So, I don't know. Rome is basically a ghost that manifests as electricity and can enter it. Okay, I remembered it was not possessing, but like inside certain things, but it's been a while. Oh, there was another game, Tactics Ogre released on Steam, chat. Tactics Ogre Reborn. I haven't played anything since Ogre Battle 64. So if I put treads on a horse, would it be a vehicle? Are we talking like a Trojan horse scenario, or are you literally suggesting replacing horseshoes with treads? Like, what are we talking about here, Atona? If this stuff makes it up on YouTube, people are going to be so confused. This is another map where it probably would be better to go unicorn first, but I don't. Because I don't care. Dark Power is a very good game, short but fun. The game doesn't have to be long to be fun. I know you're not saying that, but I'm just putting it out there. Wait, if you put skis on a horse, that would make it like a sleigh? Are we still talking about like a regular horse? Already looking like a bad sushi game? Did I reach the gold pack? No, I think I'm like, after this game, like 6 games short. I'll get it. I'll make sure I get it. Like tomorrow or Sunday, I'll just play a bunch of games and we'll go from there, kind of thing. Just a regular horse, but skis on its hooves. This is probably kind of small map, or Doughzer would work well. I agree, DT. This is one of the ones that I was talking about, but I gotta figure out, and I didn't get a chance to do this before the stream, I wanted to map out, like I was just gonna write it out to be like, okay, well if I start with this, like just script it. So these are my typical openers, this will be my mid-game, and then by this turn, I'll have enough for a Doughzer sort of thing. But that's when I started to realize, I think the Doughzer plan is just another, I'm gonna play, I'm just gonna open turrets again. So all of these can hit. Six, 10, 50, 15, 50. So it'll live, the stabby. The thing is I think I need to cut stuff like Innocuous from the game plan if I'm going to go Doughzer. I think that sort of thing, while we could have gotten it in the last game, I think it causes problems. If you put skis on a horse and rode it downhill in the snow, are you sledding or not? Does that make a horse a vehicle? No, you're not, because you're using... Like, the reason I'm saying it's not is because then, is a person on skis a vehicle? No. Is the suggestion that just riding something else makes it a vehicle? This is getting weird. The classic DT strategy, play a bunch of turrets, you can bank for more turrets. I mean, it works, right? But, like, this is where I would need to... Like, we need to start banking. And here's the thing about Doughzer is that this isn't terrible because I could bank one more turn and get Doughzer. But here, if I wanted Hevo 3.0, I couldn't get the 1 key here. Is a person with skis a vehicle? No. Well, not with that attitude, obviously. Who say I'm not a vehicle, who says I can't turn into a helicopter. It'd be pretty impressive if you could. I immediately use Glob as an opener on small map. Oh, you got the Glob? Yeah, I forgot you got Glob. How's it been working out for you? Has it been doing well? We're actually going to bank for Doughzer at this stage. Truthfully, chat, I think that Russell is probably the better choice here. What do you think? I kind of want to force Doughzer, but I think Russell actually is pretty good here. Like, if they move this up, it's probably not going to get here in time. Show Doughzer some love. Yeah, we're going to go Doughzer. I just want to use Doughzer. We're going to try it, chat. We're going to try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. The map has a healing spot. I don't see why Russell will be okay. Because this, and Stabby, and Cassowary, and the Contortio. So, Contortio, Cassowary can't heal. A. The Gesundheit is low enough health that even a single tick of poison is possibly enough to kill it. And then on top of it, the Stabby has to immediately beeline for this. Now, there's an argument that they could instead choose to not do a bunch of that stuff. We're going to go this way. They could choose not to do a bunch of that stuff and then just wait until a slot opens up and then go Clinico, go Muffin, whatever. But I think we might be able to force a lot of leverage by letting things just die, retake the map, and then... So basically the whole Russell plan is poison them, either they commit into you or they pull back. If they pull back, then I have the opportunity to just wait and let them... They go back to heal, I take the whole board, and then I get a defensible position while I'm holding the entire board. You know what I mean? I like them big, I like them chunky. Our opponent is absolutely confused now. They don't know what's happening or what they're going to do about it. Because I would be confused. Also, Muffin Clinic. Yeah, so Zomboni... As Zomboni becomes more common, I wonder if it's going to effectively invalidate Russell, truthfully. So my my Doughzer has almost 4k health, chap. Almost 4k health. Ginseng, yeah, when they ran in, I'm like, I didn't even say anything because I knew they were going to undo it. Doughzer just being fat, he's a big boy. He was hungry. He's not hungry now because he's full. Where's our go baby? I didn't mention that the dog was down here, but she was dreaming earlier. You could hear it. It's adorable. She's such a good girl. Alright, so if we move up... Like, what if we did this? This possibly gets Doughzer killed, and I'm not even joking. We're gonna wait. This might be overly aggressive because I think they kill the Stabby kind of easily. He's so full he's got to rip some of it off to lose weight. I mean, if I could just pull parts of my... Well, that could get really bad, actually. I was going to say, if I could just pull parts of myself off to lose weight, that would be sweet. And then I thought about it for a second. I'm like, no, that actually sounds awful. Was it a bad play to kill Cass here? I don't know if I was in position. I don't know if I had the range on my Cassowary to get to it. Otherwise, I probably would have gone for it if I was thinking. I mean, we get the cassowary anyway, just not with the trade. Like, we would have still had the stabby and been without our cassowary, and that would have been better for me. So this just kills stabby. And now we have a Doughzer in the middle of the map, chat. Now, granted, our cassowary is absolutely dead. This is still somewhat alive. I don't know what we supplement with. No, I do know what we supplement with. For the lulz! They have 11 keys, but you have 6. Yeah, we're not in, like, a devastating position. This game isn't locked up by any means. The Zomboni is ambitious, but I just wanted to. Yeah, exactly, Honda. I mean, they could kill these things if they wanted to, but they have to really want it. If you want this kill, you're gonna have to come and get it. Could have coned the Jin Sting? Yes, I was thinking about it. I did think about it. A little too late, truthfully, but I did consider it. They still have 8 keys to pop out something mean and nasty, so, again, this game is not over. Like, this could be a problem. Ghostbusters alive in Phobies? True. Come and get me? So they're out of keys. You want this kill? I want it. Do you want this kill? I want it! That's 14. I think we kill this? Like, don't we just kill it? What? Like, did they not think that was gonna happen? Yeah, like, I don't know about that one, Chief. They can't even kill this, necessarily, because they're going to have to sink 2 hits into this. So, like, I can aggressively advance this, because it's safe. Because of the boomer. The power of Doughzer. I mean, Doughzer, it hits like a freaking truck. The big doughboy packs a punch. See, that's the thing people don't necessarily realize about fights, chat. And it's why they have weight classes. Because if you have a heavyweight fighting, like, a featherweight, it's going to be a bad day for one of those guys. And I know who I'm putting money on. Wow. Really? Doughzer just dropping the hammer. Bam! This boomer lived the whole match almost. Honestly, the boomer wasn't part of the strategy when I was mapping this stuff out, but the rest of this kinda was. Not the Zomboni either, but this felt like too good of a Zomboni scenario to not do it. You know what I mean? Zomboni is good. I don't think Zomboni's bad. I just want to get the kill with Doughzer. I don't have a quest or anything. I just want to do it. GG, well played, bad guy. Well played. Honestly, I think Zomboni's good. But I think Zomboni might be good for this particular strategy, too. Because Zomboni is a way better combat healer than the other Phobies. You know, you put a Clinico out there, and Clinico is not an offensive threat. You put Dr. Dermic out there, and Dr. Dermic is not an offensive threat. Should have to heal to see the cool animation. I didn't want to BM them, but the animation is cool. Again, I had snuck that into the video too, because I have been using Zomboni offline. But what are the... There's a... Like, Metabot does almost no damage. Bluelian is, up until Zomboni, the best version of a combat healer we have, because Bluelian rather is a significant threat. You know, it actually can do some damage. But Zomboni, on the other hand, is ranged, so that's kind of a big deal. I think Zomboni is actually pretty decent. I know there was somebody in chat that was really down on Zomboni, and Bluelian has the jingle. Also true. The fringe benefits. Jingle unbeatable. Does it have a sound effect when he puts down the healing spa? I haven't really paid attention to that. So chat, there's only 2 game reviews in the hopper at the moment. If you had games that you wanted to get reviewed, this would probably be a good weekend for it. By the time this makes it up on YouTube, it'll be a little late for that. We'll build them up again. But the patch, once again, broke everything. What I'll probably do, like I was mentioning earlier, for the new YouTube schedule in the new year, is... That's why I want to... One of the reasons I want to condense everything into a single review night. So Sundays, we do all the reviews. Because then I'll pull that as a video... But I won't necessarily pull the other streams unless there's something interesting happening. And then I probably won't do as many reviews on those because then I don't have to... Or maybe I'll do like one of these and then I'll splice them all together into one big review video. So that way, you know, there isn't as much. Alright, so we're zoning in here. Viewer game breakdown from dogewhal. We're back on RCO, one of the classics. And the notes here for this one are just simply, at least his name wasn't lying. So we got a little rush action. We'll see what they're doing here. Yours versus Smiley. Yeah, just throw it on the list, Hakunay, so that way I don't forget about it. So we do get the dogewhal opener here. Speaking of Doge, it's going to be Snowball. I like this opener. I don't know about the boom, but bad guy elected to go Maggie, and that's a little weird. It's a little weird. I mean, I don't mind it. It obviously was intended for a bank here, either here or later, but I don't know if that's worth it. Gonna submit a Kaboom game. It's been a while since... Okay, Onda, that's fair. Yeah, Hakunay, if you throw it in the list, I mean, if we don't get to it tonight, then I could do it Sunday, or tomorrow, for that matter. So we're getting fairly standard stuff other than the boom, which I still think is a little odd, although is the boom lethal here? It's not quite lethal here. This is just under a hair under 600 damage versus 690. I mean, this would put it into jar range if it got hit, but... I love the Tickles avatar up here, too. So obviously, we get the retreat here. The boom could go down, hypothetically. Obviously, Ginsting could come in, the Murder Wing could come in, but this would be a really... You'd be giving up almost your entire team. 2/3... Oh, God, they're going for it. They're going for it, chat. Caution to the wind. Get a meatball. What? Why did they do this? I get the fireballs down. But, like... Poor K. I don't get it, chat. That seems suspect. I mean... There's a world... There is a reality in which dogewhal doesn't just punish this in an excruciating fashion, but I don't know if it's this reality. Why didn't you jar? Why not jar and just kill this? I mean, I guess this is fine, but why not jar? New chopper logo looking good? Thank you. Yeah, I kind of wanted to show off a little bit, Kraos. I don't know why I didn't. I mean, that's... At this point, I would have been so excited I might have forgotten to jar myself, because it's like, it doesn't matter, I'm just crushing them. But I mean, honestly, looking at this board position, suddenly it's not great. It's 4-1 panic point advantage. Bad guy has a big setup here. You actually don't kill the murder wing because of the heal. That hurts a little bit. Get a little tickles action to match their avatar. The bad guy's pushing a lot here. Ooh, this... So, timeout, chat. I was thinking about this earlier with respect to the Sucky opener. With respect to the Sucky opener, I actually was thinking about Canine again. I'm like, is Canine just a better Sucky? But it's actually on level. So my Sucky is level 10, my Canine's level 10. It's almost a 300 HP difference. Canine's pretty tanky, but it might not be tanky enough. But I'm wondering if for all of the openers that we've been debating where Sucky is part of it, what if we replace Sucky with Canine? And is the mobility worth it? So bad guys kind of painted themselves into a corner here with all this melee. You can only get so much melee through. That being said, Meatball... Now, Meatball's not live. 8... Alright, this'll live. I was trying to see if maybe the Murder Wing plus the Eternal Night clear a path, but that's not going to happen. K9's got the attack damage. Well, K9 has more damage in the mobility, so I think there's something there. But it's... If the whole point is you want a billion HP, 300 HP is a lot. That's a significant amount of HP to be giving up. Also, oh, okay, you move the jar. I was about to say, I really don't like this jar positioning if you leave that here. But we've been trying to be very cute with these Sucky openers, right? And part of me was thinking, well, what if we just did Canine? Like, is Canine just better? And I wonder if it's just, it's different, not necessarily better. But they would drive different, like that small wrinkle. Remind me to talk about this after the game, chat. But that small wrinkle makes things so different. And could lead to wildly different games just by changing one of your turn 1 phobies. Like I said, remind me after the game. But anyway, we get a Klepto follow-up. Only 1 key remaining for bad guy. 2,700 health on the heart. So our hero has kind of taken a beating here. But they are going to finally take a panic point advantage. I don't know if they had one at any point earlier in this. And they're spread out, so that means that they're not going to get pummeled by the Klepto. This is a pretty good position because as long as you're not under an enormous amount of pressure, both of these phobies can get chipped down by jar. Oh no, bad guy. Did they really want to do that? Please tell me you have Morty, dogewhal. That would be hilarious. Never mind, you don't need Morty. Just pop it. Get an Unbearable. I feel like the Unbearable's kind of slow here, but then again, it's basically Klepto against the world. Yeah, bad guy sending it in. I think they've accepted defeat at this stage. There's really not much bad guy can do here. Muffin's the last phobie. This is, I mean, there's only 6 turns left, but we're just watching the end here. Get a little Ted action to finish it out. Fair. I don't think it really matters. You could have popped anything out. Well played, Doge. Well played. I think that if you had killed the Murder Wing in the beginning, the game was just over on the spot. Now, I think bad guy should not have done that invade. I think that was really aggressive. Like, super aggressive. But, I think if you pop the Murder Wing with the jar, the game's just over. They've lost so much tempo. And I don't even think they kill all of your stuff like they did on the return. Like, they'll get something because the cassowary has the leap. Assuming they stay. But realistically, bad guy's just dead at that point, right? This is the part of the game where I always wish that you could concede. Like, there's no reason that we should be forcing bad guy to play this game out. Just let them surrender. The game is clearly over. In the new big map with lots of holes, I was able to win by destroying 9 keys of my opponent. Opponent destroyed 0. Oh, no. GG, well played, dogewhal. Well done. Well done. Not a good way to cook your steaks, but well done is a great way to play your games. Just remember, chat, life lessons with Chomp. Life lessons with Chomp. All right, let me update the spreadsheet. So, I already forgot. What was the thing that I was trying to tell chat to remind me of? What were we going to talk about? I legitimately forgot. Oh, yeah, the wrinkles in early gameplay. I mentioned it during the game for anybody watching this on YouTube. Again, watch the game replays, even if they're not, because I think, besides saying stuff that is interesting, I think there's a lot to learn by observing other people's games. But, we've lately been pushing the Sucky opener a lot. We've been pushing the Sucky opener a lot on a variety of small maps. Basically, you literally start with Sucky, and then sometimes you'll go 1 key, sometimes you'll not, so you get banked to 4. And then, so, say you're on Red Rum. You open Sucky, either 1 key or not, then next turn you follow it up with turrets. Either it's Stabby Bow Mangles, it could be Innocuous, it could be something else. And then you have this early game where it's Sucky plus 1 or 2 turrets, plus a 3 ranger, and then all of a sudden you have an enormous amount of HP functioning as a bodyguard for your Innocuous, for your 3 ranger, whatever it happens to be. And you can just march your team forward as this virtually impenetrable wall of hit points. But it brought up the discussion point, or I brought up the discussion point about K9000, and as mentioned, like, both of these are level 10, but it's almost a 300 HP difference between these two. So K9000 offers a significantly smaller chunk of HP for this game plan. But I think there's still something there. And it's still a lot of HP, but you get the mobility, you get more damage, although you don't necessarily get 2 attacks because you're missing the leap. But realistically, a lot of the time you're only getting the 1 attack with Sucky just because of the movement limitations. So, what I was mentioning in the game is that I think these subtle modifications in gameplay strategies can have massive ramifications as you play games of Phobies. And this goes back to the meta discussions and the staleness for Phobies, that I think changing even a singular Phobie like Sucky to K9000 for these sort of openers, and chat's pointing out there are other differences as well, like the heal on Bloodsucker here, which, yes, that's absolutely true. But I think there's a lot of stuff to consider with this that, okay, well, my Phobie is less tanky, but it's more mobile. How does that change my game plan? Well, that means I can get panic points more easily. I don't necessarily have this plotting, methodical advance forward. I can be a lot more nimble because the K9 could run around and cap a point that you might not have otherwise, thereby stressing and stretching your opponent's team in different directions. I think that there's potential here for multiple openers that end up playing. They look on paper to be very similar. You know, it's 2-drop, possibly plus 1 key on 1, into turrets, into range thing, etc. But it leads to different end game states or even middle game states of trying to play out and jockey for that board position. I think there's a lot there. Just realized the damage buff for Russell is 50. Yeah, it's a pretty significant buff. Russell got a fairly significant buff. I still think the big thing is the Caw. The HP buff is more important, I think. Just to make, because it's a melee phobia, you gotta walk into range. Rip Kevin Conroy, yeah. But I saw it, I was never really watched Batman the Animated Series. I mean, I knew of it. I'm sure I saw some episodes, but it was never really my thing. I've talked about before, I'm not a big superheroes person, but there was a lot of people on my Twitter feed and other places that were mourning because he was such a big presence for a lot of their stuff. So, a lot of their lives. So, yeah, rip Kevin Conroy. 620 damage. Yeah, Russell can pour it on now. Because remember, that 50 damage buff at level 1 scales, so... Now, granted, everything else scales, so the stuff that it's fighting at level 9 is going to be improved on HP by, you know, same percentage increase, but Russell is a bigger threat. It is a bigger threat, but like I said in the video, the claw is Russell's ability, obviously, but it is Russell is the main thing. I think the claw is pretty much everything that you're wrapped up in. You don't really care about... You care, it matters, but at the same time, that's not why you're playing Russell. You're playing Russell because of the claw. The advantage here, and I didn't really mention this in the video that much, but the advantage here is that Russell is now not quite as much dead weight after you activate the claw. Anything on the wish list? Boss, Attractor. For anybody curious what the wish list is, we're talking about for seasonal pack. Boss, Attractor, Werewolf. I really do want Poison Ivy. Paddles would be cool, so we could try Walk the Dog. Maybe Smiley. Anything that I'm missing right now feels like a major phobie. You know, like, both of these are big. Heartbreaker, big. Mildred Boss, big. Edgar Allan, Leshy, Blasto, Fire Ant, Mr. Tramples, Motherload. Like, all of these phobies that are missing, because I have all the commons and uncommons. The least interesting things would probably be Doom Doom, even though I feel like I respect Doom Doom more than most. Metabot, Rusty. Even Jill would be cool. Even Jill would be cool. I'd love to see you getting Grimes. Grimes, I don't know if it would be at a level quickly enough for me to really use it, but it would be cool. Hope we get Werewolf from Season Pack. Yeah, Werewolf would be really sweet. Yeah, Noxious would be really cool. I mean, it's a dragon, so dragons are cool, right? You know what I was watching earlier, chat, because it was suggested on YouTube randomly? Has anybody seen the animated Lord of the Rings or the animated Hobbit from, I think it was the 70s? I think it was from the 70s. That was a really cool animated, I think it was actually a movie. I don't think it was a show. Pretty sure it was just a full feature-length movie, whatever that is. Haven't seen those in years. Yeah, there was random clips of Smaug yelling at Bilbo, which is kind of funny. I don't like how Smaug looks, though. It always felt weird. It doesn't look like a dragon. I mean, it has the body shape, but the way the head is, it doesn't really quite work. And it's fine, but, you know. Let's jump back in the arena, chat. Alright, so we're on another one of the new maps. The Once Lore. Should probably rewatch those. I'm not a Lord of the Rings person, but I typically like their work. I think my wife has them. I think she has them on, like, a re-release DVD or something. I gotta ask her, because I keep meaning to rewatch those, because I haven't seen them in years. Like, I probably haven't watched them since I was a kid. This is a very weird map, chat. Like, why is there a stim here? Pterodactyl's only level 3? No what? GG? Well, we lost already? Is that what you're saying? Oh, we won? I don't know. This is the first time I've been on this map. How can I kill it? I can only reach it with the, with Snowball. Oh, this is right. Oh my god, wait. Is this for real? Oh, chat, this is so stupid. I didn't realize that this space was so short when I was saying, why is this so close? Oh my god. HN fell for the shit. Well, I mean, the first time you're on the map, I don't think you would recognize, like, I didn't recognize it because I didn't notice that this was so close, because how many maps has that happened? I was more like, why is the stim right next to the heart? I was going to make a comment about, whatever the Misanthrope map is. Billy's room? The one where we kept seeing Misanthrope walk up next to the heart. First map, always see it from a... Yeah, exactly. Do we just take this instead? So that we don't lose our snowball in the same fashion? Part of me wants to break this obstacle, truthfully. Opponent didn't react for a few seconds trying to process. Yeah, I don't blame him for that. I do not blame them. Part of me wants to send a 1 key over here. That would put us at 8. Use Evo 2.0. That is part of the game plan. I'm just trying to work out the math in my head for, like, what the next couple turns look like. So I think sending a 1 key out, like, this way isn't awful. The game is actually a toe. But yeah, I agree with Hakunay. First thing is to look at it from Jar Snowball. That's true. Now Repeller, Moffat 2.0, and you chill. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I just don't know if I need to get it online this quickly. That's the wrong spot for the cat, because even if they kill this, they can't put the cat there. On this map, I destroyed 9 keys, my opponent 0. Now you can figure out how. True. We have to back this off because I don't want it to get booped. If we put this here instead, this means we can threaten the murder wing. Also, like hearing Hevo's walking sound effect. It does sound cool. It does sound cool and threatening, right? They can just jar this. This is 800. 286, 6, 7, 8. Akira is terrifying. I could absolutely see that being the case. This feels like it would be the math for Akira. Just galaxy brain ridiculousness. Oh, this is the Miss Cha map? That's pretty cool. I can imagine Pterodactyl in this match. Absolutely. No matter where you are, Akira, just, yeah, there's just no safe positioning unless you have flyers on every tile, right? I don't know if this is lethal. It's close, but it's not quite. So you could break a block. But I don't think that helps you in a meaningful way right now. Repeller when? I mean, probably soon. I'm debating Repeller versus Moffat is what we do. Go Slammerhead. I don't know. I think Slammerhead's going to be tough on this map because, you know, you're hitting in the corridor, so I'm not booping them towards something. They'd have to be, like, here in order for the boop to work. You know what I mean? That doesn't make a lot of sense for that to happen. Yeah, I think Moffat is the better answer. I want to go Repeller, but I think Moffat is the answer. So they chose to break this. Can they kill this? 4, 9, 14. Like, it's hypothetically possible, but exceptionally unlikely. 434, 934, 14, 15. 16, 17, 70. That actually might be enough. I think we still go Moffat. Because if we go Moffat here, and they put Erratic here in order to try and snipe our jar, we just yoink it. Because, like, they can kill this. I don't know. On this map, you can even skip your first turn and immediately go Akira and your opponent is doomed. I could see that. This seems absolutely insane. For Akira, that is. Like, it seems absolutely bonkers going Akira. So the intent here was to body block for the jar. I don't know if that's actually worth it. Droney needed here. Droney won't reach. I was checking that. Droney gets up to, like, here. So they'd have to be on the stem because it goes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's the only way to block it. And it depends. I don't know if the boop goes up or down. If it goes towards their heart or my heart. You can try and boop Erratic to Abyss if Erratic moves forward. Yeah. This map seems like a real map for Phobies. I think other maps are so sweet. I don't know what you're trying to say, Kraos. Like, are you saying you do like this map, or are you saying you don't like this map? So I think they're trying to set up an obstacle block here next turn, which would be super obnoxious. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They aren't maxed out on Phobies, and there's a healing spa, although it would help with the Erratic. This feels safe. It does not allow us to do a Hevo 3.0 next turn, though. Okay, Kraos. Yeah, this map seems really cool. So if this is Miss Chaw's map, shout out to Miss Chaw. Really want to see a map based off Brony-like effects. That would be pretty funny. It's like the Diablo 3 Happy World or whatever. It was the new Secret Cow level. Heartbreaker! Alright, chat. The math has changed. The math has suddenly changed, chat. Unleash the goblin? We might have to. Legitimately might have to. Not even memeing here. So the problem is the boop here won't even kill the jar. Like, that isn't really helpful. We're going to try this. I don't know that I like this. The boop might have not been a good idea, but they could have just walked away anyway. If they try and come in here, I think we can punish this. Tony wants to be a little toxic. I mean, come on. We were talking about Akira. I feel like Heartbreaker is completely fair game on this map. Definitely fair game on this map. So you wouldn't be able to kill it. You can't reach. You can't reach. You can't reach. Jar and this won't be enough. Yeah, that. I mean, yes, we can set something up with the a Slammerhead hypothetically, but I don't know that it really helps us in this configuration. I think Slammerhead might be good on this map. There's too many Abyss tiles for it to not be good, or at least not be useful. You know what I mean? I think Gravedigger is good here. I think Gravedigger is pretty good in general on this map. I think there's definitely... I was thinking about Crush more, just because it's a bigger threat. I don't like Gravedigger on large maps because it's dead weight a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's dimensional. Like, do we Rustle? There's a healing spa, so Rustle doesn't feel great. Rustle does not feel great. The problem is, I don't know that the Firkin can ever get on this. I think Firkin was a mistake. Because there's no chance for me to ever Firkin this without it having to first be exposed to getting tagged by the Heartbreaker. This is safe here, I think. If you go here, 1, 2, 3. If you go here, 1, 2, 3. So, like, the spider has to go back here. This seems less than ideal. It might be worth it to Rustle. Oh, we have max Phobies. I didn't realize we had max Phobies. I should send this cat in, but we're trying to put pressure on the top by capping that point. I don't think this is a Rustle game. I think Rustle could have value here just because it chips down this into range so I could dive it. And this, if it either has to commit in which case I blow it up, or it's just gonna die. Yeah, the Firkin's too far, but the Firkin can't advance. If I move it up, it just immediately dies the Heartbreaker. So we're trading... That's the question. Is it worth trading 4 keys to put Heartbreaker on cooldown? I don't know if that's the case. Well, they can't Muffin. They have max Phobies. That's the thing, is like they straight up can't Muffin right now. So the question is, do I kill this? Because then they absolutely kill the pterodactyl. Oh no, we can't get that anyway. I was thinking we could just move here, but this is too far. Cat dies, they can Muffin now? Yes, they can. But I imagine they're going to put something else relevant on the board. You know what I mean? Most people... That's part of Russell's power right now, is that almost nobody accounts for it right now, because who the hell uses Russell? You know what I mean? Plus, it's an ultra rare, so most people don't even have it. If you want to Russell, you got to do it soon. No, I think we wait. Like, now Russell is not great, because if their last phobia is this, that Russell does nothing to this. Russell's so bad, it's actually awesome. I mean, it's kind of in that camp, I'm not even joking. Because think about it, like, right now, if they try and walk down to... Let's say they go with the Blasto, and I Russell. They lose 1, 2, 3, 4 phobies, and then it's Heartbreaker, Blasto, and Jar versus my team. They went Clinico. So that kind of takes that whole plan off the table. Now Russell is just dead. If somebody presents a healing phobia, you can't Russell. You just can't. Okay, they're going Blasto. What are they doing? Make up your mind, pal. So yeah, like, I think Russell might be reasonable here. Of the ones we're willing to give up, I'd rather sacrifice... I'd rather sacrifice the Firkin, put this on cooldown, and then we don't have to worry about it. Get a little funky bird action. Because again, if they try and move in so that way they can get to the healing spot, I'm just going to kill the Heartbreaker. And that's kind of their whole offense right now. Granted, the Blasto and stuff make a difference, but they have to commit those at this stage. If they go here, that's a good spot for them. I can't really get at that. Alright, so they elected to go after that, which makes sense. Honestly, I think their better choice was over here, where the Erratic is. Because this is now on a 3-turn cooldown. This will die to the Russell before anything matters. And I can wait because I've had a panic point advantage for like the whole game. You can boop it? Boop what? the Heartbreaker? I mean, I guess. I don't even... It's more the help of this. The problem with doing that is I get hit by this, this, and this, which are all electrical. Like, that play is going to get Hevo killed. The poison will take a little bit longer, but it's way safer. There's no rush at this stage. They can't come after me and really do anything of value. We could snowball the middle and pull. Like, that's not ridiculous either. Actually, this is going to take longer. I think we have to do that. See, the problem with doing this... Yeah, the jar is going to die. The problem with doing this is, like, we're going to lose both of these, and I don't know if that's necessarily worth it. Last second, yep. Because I can't boop this. I obviously will lose the pull. I just loved how zoned out Russell's face is. Russell's had a bad week. Let's cut him some slack. All right, chat? Come on. Honestly, the Blasto could prove to be a problem. Like, I don't think this was worth it. We might have been able to wait it out with just the poison, but I'm not sure. I think Chuck is made from Gravediggers, same stitches, same feet, same colors. Maybe. I mean, you can make the argument that Erratic is partially made from them. So they still have Laser live, right? Yeah. Game, please. So they're going to block here, which is going to be super annoying. Hold on. We kill this. If we go here... This doesn't have Meatball. 570, but that's enough. We could boop Erratic, but I kind of want it in range. Because then I can kill it next turn. If they walk into range, it's dead. They might do that. Oh, wait, no, they can't. Like, they can't reach the jar right now. Even if they break this obstacle. What's their heart at? 42. I was typing that when the jar hit grave / blast. Oh, okay, yeah, if it was up here. Yeah, they definitely had plays to kill it. I don't even think they needed to. I think jar plus murder wing would get it, and that would get them some value out of this murder wing, which is on its way out, right? But errata can be out of range at 2.0. Wait, what? You're saying if I had booped back then? But, I mean, there was no way they could get at the erratic as it is anyway. Or at the 2.0 with erratic anyway. Like, it was already going to be out of range. I don't think that particularly matters. Again, they're going to try and body block this, but I don't know that I care. And by body block, I mean block with the obstacle. Murder Wing should die to poison, yes. They have to hit something with it, which obviously when it comes in, it'll get its final hit of damage, and then we just kill it. I should have moved this over to here so that way it's in range to, like, boop this turn. I kind of just want to pull back and let this die on its own. Like, just make sure that I'm way out of range so there's no chance of it healing. So, like, if we do this, they literally can't touch it. So it's just going to die from poison. This will be as low as it's going to get. This is almost dead. Just wait. Yeah, I mean, I have a panic point advantage. They are the ones that have to do something. And I'm going to reapply poison to almost kill this erratic. What a scam, just wait and watch your opponent dying. That's how Russell plays. It's like, your opponent has to do something. It's their problem. That sounds like a you problem, bad guy. I love when the worms drop onto the abyss tile and then they squirm in there like, where exactly are you going, little worm? That almost did 0 damage thanks to the healing spa. I will end up net positive healing, which is why I went over here. Would you say Russell was great here? I think it was good to very good. I don't think I would verge on saying that it was great. I think that might be going a little far. Russell makes life difficult, that's his job. This is why, imagine if Russell did an extra 300 damage to each of these phobies. That'd be pretty busted, don't you think? I'm astonished that they didn't send the Murder Wing into, like, here or something earlier. Like, legitimately no idea why they didn't do that. Next turn, we'll be able to claw again, which will actually kill the erratic this time. Wonder how much a max level does? A lot, I would imagine. I imagine a lot. 12 keys for 8 keys is a good trade. It seems okay. I'm not a mathematician, but it seems alright. It's not as good as that. What did we have in that one breakdown game? It was something along the lines of 23 keys for 2 or something like that. It was super dumb. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Russell is still not fantastic, but Russell does have potential. You like this game, they're slowly dying and I can't do anything about it, it's true. It's the slow demise, and it's because they went Blasto. If they went even a 6-cost Phobie, I probably would have second-guessed it. Does Aerodactyl have the same damage as Cassowary? Yes. I think it has identical. I think DT said that before. Yep, DT is confirming. DT knows all the numbers. Buff Russell while making it cost 1 key? Oh my god. I think that they could mess around with key costs. You know, if a tractor, for example, was 7 or 8 keys, maybe it's fine. As it is, I don't know. The car! I'm just gonna wait. They have to do something. I don't have to do anything, chat. Russell! These games really make me want to Russell. Russell is fun. Don't get me wrong, you have to learn the scenarios. I know, I don't want to say that I'm making it look easy, but like, there, you'll feel it when it's a Russell game, you know what I mean? And when it's not. Because there are times when it is not a Russell game. Alright, they're going for the heart, chat. I could probably race my pterodactyl to the top and outrush their heart. This might not even be a good idea. Because, yeah, I was expecting him to do this. They walk up, they pop the jar. But now they've invested everything in this half of the board, and the Blasto is not going to race me sending everything up here. You're fighting Onda's twin. They have Kerbloom and Boom out. Oh, my God. RT is funny, I don't have to do anything, they have to do stuff. It's true, I mean, it's their problem. They have to find a way to win. I guess it doesn't matter. It was going to die to poison, but I didn't want it to sneak up behind and hit. Snowball died first turn. It's true. The snowball opener on this map, like, this is not a good snowball opener map. GG, we got him. We didn't even need to attack. Russell takes down... Russell claims another victim. There's a few things that I said during that game that might be opening clips, chat. Russell claims yet another victim. Russell is fun. Russell is fun, but like I said, the Caw I don't think can be buffed. I don't think the Caw can be buffed because even with that, doing that little damage, that was like 800 to, I mean, let's say it's 250. It was like almost 1,000 damage. Got plenty of resources? Yep. Well, this is about average, because, again, content affiliate, they give me coffee, so they gave me the coffee this week, and I usually have around 30,000 tiers through the season. If you get gold, you know, like, I'm still 4 games under, but I'll have it by the weekend. You know, that's about where you are. It depends on how many games you play when you're capped on a given day, something like that. So it's in the range. I've had months or seasons where I was over 30,000 tiers. Will probably be right around 30,000, depending. I was debating getting the subscription. Again, like I said, content affiliate, so, you know, they give me stuff. But since I now have Phobies on my phone, I was debating doing it. Just killed Oculus and Klepto and lost 0 Phobies. Nice. 10-0 trade seems good. Scoreboard. Scoreboard. So the question, dogewhal, for the points redemption, should I make the Russell just me screaming? Or should I make it, like, do some sort of graphic? As opposed to the one, like, that guy is mad where it's just the clip. I could put something, like, do more editing. Or should it just be me screaming? I don't know which would be funnier. There's my force mirror match if you want to see it quickly. If not, 100% fine. Well, let me do the, oh, we did the dogewhal one. Let me do the pancake one, and then we'll look at that Hakunay. Right now, once we do the pancake one, officially there are no other games in there. So we'll do the Hakunay one after this. Who is this against? Alright, so our hero here is pancake. One of my favorite breakfast items. I am more of a waffles person, though, but pancakes are up there. So, pancake. Coming in hot in the blue trunks on Biff's room. The notes here, arena time stress makes for silly mistakes. Ah, we have another sucky enjoyer. Can't believe this Metabot can perfectly recreate fart with reverb. What? Seeing DT with a stabby avatar feels weird to me, like it's not DT I know. What was DT's avatar before? I know I call out the avatars, but honestly, those kind of, like, they go into my head and then they're out. I forget about them. So we, like I said, we have another stabby enjoyer here, or sucky enjoyer. I don't know if this is, exactly, Alan. I don't, because I've struggled with this on this map exactly, because you can't really threaten anything with the sucky from this position, so I don't know that sending in the cat is worth it. I think waiting with the cat is better, so that way you can use it to either recap points or do other stuff. Now, that being said, the mobility here afforded by the Murder Wing allows you to take out this cassowary. So cat for cassowary is a decent trade. The droney, I don't know about. Like, this is bold. This is a bold move, Cotton. I don't know about this one, chat. I also question the bees over here. So bad guy could have killed the cowbell, which may not seem all that important, but this cowbell means that this thing dies. And it didn't need to. I don't even, maybe the math didn't work out for Pancake here, but I think, hold on. 680. Okay, yeah, so this couldn't solo kill it, which is unfortunate. But still, it goes down and it didn't need to. Because this could have been dead. I don't think the extra damage on the Sucky and the Murder Wing mattered that much. But if Pancake doesn't supplement their forces here properly, the Murder Wing could die? Probably not, though. Really? See, this is why I think Sucky might be better than K9 for this. I don't know that K9 tanks that many hits and requires this much effort to kill. As compared to what just happened, the Sucky comes out and just tanked a hit, 3 hits from Jinsting and 2 from Murder Wing. That is an enormous amount of damage that had to be sunk into it that wasn't going down on other Phobies. So, another point in Sucky's favor. Birkin Casso Kaboom. I won't type the shorter version. Sucky's better in small maps? Absolutely. DT's been championing it for a while, so shout out to DT. Like I said before, it's fun that Phobies encourages these signature strategies among players. So we had a 3-0 panic point advantage for some time for our hero. And right now, 2,300 health. Truthfully, our hero feels like they're in a dominating position. 8 keys remaining to 9. Panic point advantage does finally go into bad guys' favor, and they are building up their forces. There doesn't appear to be a great way for our hero to get onto Noxious and kill it. Because you're going to get Murder Wing, Stabby, Droney hit, but that's it. They're going for it anyway, though. Well, they can probably just soften it up here. I guess this is okay. I was going to say, is it worth moving this up? But I think it is. Always a winning strategy, Atona, no matter what we're talking about. Alright, now we're going to get the walk away from the Noxious. This is the problem and the reason that the Innocuous had to be moved up. This is in kill range for the Innocuous, though. Level 10 Innocuous. Kind of a big deal. This was not necessary. You could have just killed the... This is probably one of the mistakes that Pancake had mentioned in their notes. You could just one-shot this with the Innocuous, and then this damage goes down here, which may not... We'll see if it plays in, but that could be significant. So we got a little muffin action, definitely makes sense. And we get a Sparky as the last Phobie. That's real interesting. I mean, yes, it answers the bow Mangles, but was that necessary? The problem here is you're going to get a hit from Mangles, some bees, and, well, the jar hit isn't necessary because it took that out. This is likely not a dead Innocuous. Because I think at level 10 it has over 1,000 health. And Spud is the last Phobie. That's weird. Why Spud? You're level 68 and still without Muffin? Muffin has absolutely transformed my gameplay. It's made an enormous impact. I'll be honest, I haven't really seen what the errors Pancake was talking about. Most of this seemed fine. That being said, this is getting the crap kicked out of it. I think you're still fine because you have a panic point advantage, so the jar isn't necessarily going to be able to sneak in anywhere. Yeah, the two of these won't be able to one-shot the Sparky, so if they ever come in range to hit the Sparky, it's just dead. So well played, Pancake. Well played. There might have been a couple things to clean up, but I don't think there was an enormous amount of errors in this or something. Yeah, bad guys just hosed at this stage. But GG. You just won with a level 3 Pterodactyl. I already love them. Pterodactyl is fun. Pterodactyl is fun. But you definitely want to get him leveled up because it'll quickly grate on you when the levels don't work out in your favor. Chad, I wish this is something that would make my life a lot easier for trying to pull stats for Phobies, is if this end screen or something just listed, here were all the Phobies on what turn. It could even just be vertical where it's, you know, turn 1 Phobies, turn 1 Phobies, turn 2 Phobies, turn 2 Phobies, and then down the line. And then that way I could pull stats rather than trying to go through each game. I stopped doing it because it was just so much effort. In the first months, everyone's scared of Pterodactyl. Yes, but I don't see it all that often. There were a lot of Phobies that early on scared people. You know, the common argument that we always get into on the stream is Klepto and Hematic Ginsting. But I think Klepto was absolutely a terror for a while. And there's a few others that I don't know how many of... I mean, The evaluation for each of the phobies has fluctuated over time. It's definitely fluctuated over time. Pterodactyl's a terror and low stress level. I mean, so is sheep, but yes, I get your point. Was it against Smiley, you said, Hakunay? Is that the game we were looking at? People are scared the first time they meet Cerberus? Yes. And then it quickly changes. Alright, so we're taking a look at a Hakunay game against Smiley. Once again, on Biff's room. Both of these players are consistently at the top of the ladder. So let's see what we can learn here. Normally, I would split these out for a separate video or something. I'm just being lazy. It's not really being lazy because it's going to make more work for me on the back end when I have to record a separate video for something else. But we're getting a mirrored opening, which I think Hakunay had said that this was going to be a very mirrored setup. We'll see how long that persists. Oh, excuse me, chat. Tired. Can't be up too late tonight. Yep, we're getting the mirror match. So, Hakunay, since you're in chat, were you intentionally mirroring for the sake of mirroring, or were you mirroring because that was already your game plan on this map? I'm sure Smiley is happy that Smiley got buffed. Did Smiley really use Smiley before? Like, was that even a thing? So because of that one key difference, we do get a non-mirrored play here. Mirror because it was logic to mirror, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, it makes sense. We'll see if you mirror here. I don't know if you have Hematic Ginsting. We'll find out momentarily. Honestly, this map, when you do, apparently. On this map, we'll check the phobia levels while I'm talking about this. On this map, it feels like a lot of the... Wow, you're so far identically mirrored. We have to actually check the levels on this one, yeah. Wow. Alright, so you're beating them on levels with this. The unicorn. No, you're not. You're actually under on the unicorn, never mind. But on Biff's room, it feels as though people will take these end point panic points and then really avoid fighting over the middle in a lot of the higher level games that I've seen. It seems fairly common for that to be the case. See, this is the problem with the boom. I mean, I guess the boom was going to die no matter what, so it doesn't matter, but it just trivially dies to the bees here. Now, the good news is you can put a big hurt on the other Jin Sting, but you'd probably lose yours in the process. Really, going after that, okay. This I expected, because you might as well kill these. Or kill it with this, specifically. Evo 3.0 incoming. Yeah, I could see it. I like the body block here with the cat, because it forces a different interaction. Your opponent has to do something in order to get the damage down on the stabby. Yep, there's the Evo. That is the drawback of this, because you're going to end up getting your middle guy tagged. This looks like it dies to fire. It must not die to fire, so that means that stabby gets yoinked into range. So this won't die unless there's something to supplement it. And it would have to be a jar in order to hit it. Ooh, nice. So this stabby will die to the friendly fire. Check the Evo 3.0 level. That's a level 14 Evo 3.0. And I'm guessing Hakunay doesn't have a 3.0 or we would have seen it. So we see an Erratic. Erratic and Clinico show up to try and stave off this level 14 3.0. Panic point advantage is for our hero here. So Smiley's going to have to commit in. And Smiley brought the pina colada, true. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of Smiley's position, but it's not unwinnable. It's just going to be difficult because you kind of have to wait now as Smiley until the heal comes back up again. You can't commit into the erratic without an immediate heal to back it up, because otherwise 2 turns of attacks will probably kill the Hevo. You know, like a couple hits from erratic and then Jin Sting, and then the Jin Sting chasing. Oh, Thunder Rocks as the final phobie from Hakunay. See, this is what I've talked about before, where because of the way the earlier part of the game played out, and also this investment into Hevo, Smiley is down on phobies quantity-wise, and despite them all being very strong, as long as Hakunay positions properly, essentially Smiley loses attacks because they don't have as many phobies as Hakunay does. And, of course, the board position is an issue. My Unicorn was way more turns in the middle equals more traps in the middle. True. Although the traps haven't played in really at all. I don't think there was even a time where they would have been positioned to want to be on the traps, because the farthest they could be is where the Jin Sting and the erratic are. I'm sure this cluster looked very juicy for the Hevo, but obviously it can't go in, it's dead. Place 4 traps in the middle. I assume they're like Panic Point and then these 3 positions, right? Or maybe under the Unicorn. I don't even know that you were far enough up to put them on the middle Panic Point. This was very well played, and I do like the break in the mirror. Instead of going Hevo, it's kind of reiterating the point, but I think this makes a lot of sense that when your opponent goes this tall, the response can be wider, and you're just going to have more guys than they are. And there's really nothing they can do. Like, at what point after we've hit this new equilibrium, if you even want to call it that, could Smiley have done anything? You can't commit in with either phobie because they will just die. Boy got a lot of value, true. Going to second, if you can successfully mirror, then you can break it by playing the perfect counter. It should be a GG. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. And I think there's an argument for, like, I wonder how well that theory would play out on larger maps. And are there unique strategies that mirroring doesn't quite work for? I don't know what those would be, but I mean, it should make sense because, like you said, you can get the perfect counter. The only difference is your opponent does have first act as first player, so you can make the argument that because they get to go first, they can, you know, set up a more dominating board position. Have I seen the new Spooky Month vid? No. GG. Well played, Hakunay. I think that the mirroring idea is interesting. RIP 3.0 is true. At that point, I think Smiley knew the writing was on the wall. Like, what else are you going to do? As long as you can mirror all phobies at the beginning, as long as the map allows you to reposition properly. The thing is that I think the opener there... How do I put this? I'm not even sure I believe this myself yet. I'm just trying to think of other angles. So, does opening turrets or other slow-moving phobies inherently cause problems or lead to that? So, for example, if you open turrets, or I open turrets, and then you mirror with turrets, we're both limited on our movement, so we're only going to do certain things, right? Does it change the logistics if people open with much more mobile phobies? I guess it still restricts your movement, just in a different way, because certain parts of the map will be closed off simply because your opponent can move 2 things up into range and get it, as compared to the turret phobies being unable to reach certain areas of the map because they're so slow. I'm not sure. I mean, on paper, it definitely makes sense. I'd have to think about it more, like... Because I've definitely played games that were close to mirrors or were actually mirrors for the first few turns. I'm trying to think, like, is there a hard and fast rule or something for where the mirror wouldn't work? And I mean, something where it's a snowball opener probably wouldn't work, because then, by definition, they're not going to be mirrored. You can respond with snowball, but you're not getting the same positioning that I will going first. Because what are you going to do? Walk up your snowball and we'll fireball each other and walk away? But I come out ahead because I cap the first panic point, sort of thing. So you walk up, I snowball, cap the middle panic point. You snowball, fireball. I fireball back, walk away, cap another panic point. Assuming that, you know, in my head I'm picturing Red Rum, but there could be a number of small maps. I'd have to think about that more. Snowball does break the mirror. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, is that, I guess, it would depend on other maps, how they're broken down or set up, so that way, you know, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Clearly, if you don't have the phobie, even at the... I mean, well, then again, it was a double-digit unicorn versus your 7, and realistically, it didn't matter. I still need to map this out. The Jackalope plan. I don't think... I wonder if the Jackalope should all get buffed with pack attack. They might be too good then. It might be too good then. Mirroring in this game is something, even if slightly weird. Yeah, I can imagine it feeling pretty weird. I imagine it would feel pretty weird. I still need 4 games, chat. I might be able to get them with just async before Sunday. Rad Sushi coming? Not anytime soon. If you remind me, chat, after we do the pack opening on Sunday, if you remind me, hopefully I'll do the sushi then. I don't know that I'll do it on stream, but as long as chat reminds me, then I'll remember to look for it. Because I have how many? I keep clicking out of it, but how many cards do I have? 239. This is going to be a fairly leveled up bad sushi pretty quick. And I will absolutely get the Yeti. So we'll have some Mr. Freeze gaming coming in pretty soon. I'm still a while behind everybody with Glob. I think Glob is going to potentially open up some new strategies. Truthfully, chat, the Russell discoveries have somewhat... Not that I was down on Phobies, but it has reinvigorated me of, okay, Russell... We found scenarios that are good for Russell. So, it's fine if they don't come up all the time, but we have a scenario in mind so that if we're on a certain map and these things fall into place, bang, we're slamming Russell. I don't know quite what we do for Doughzer, although we had that Doughzer game earlier, or similarly some of the other big Phobies, but I'm working on it. It's doable, but most of the times you know 100% of all of what your opponent is trying to achieve and vice versa, so you cannot create traps, tricky situations. Yeah, I think part of the collection incompleteness plays into that, and I think that's one of the reasons, if you ask the team, like, why even have this? Why is that good for players? That would be their answer, because otherwise I think, yeah, people are going to play into whatever the meta stuff is, and I get it. Because I do it too. I don't necessarily have a problem with that, but yeah, past a certain point, I think people are starting to see the patterns, the general strategies of this is where I need to do certain things, this is how I need to set stuff up, and that's why I think Arena is really the long term for the game. Because if you had, quote-unquote, infinite amount of time, obviously not literally infinite, but if you had all, you know, you weren't under the duress of the timer, I think identifying your opponent's strategy is significantly easier. Now, as people play more games, and obviously the better players can do that in Arena more rapidly, but I think when everybody has max phobies and you have these pocket strategies such as Russell, and you have to account for all this different stuff that's going on, those trap scenarios, those trick scenarios where you can bait your opponent into, all right, well, I do this, they will max out next turn to respond, and then I Russell, and I come out ahead after a few turns. Those sort of things, I think, will be able to get set up more as time goes on. But we're going to be in this weird inverse bell curve where it's like everything's real interesting, then it goes down in the quantity of quote-unquote interesting scenarios, and then it'll go up again once everybody hits larger collection levels. Akira is what makes me more excited than Glob. Well, to be fair, Akira, yes, but Akira's like, if I assume 3 seasons per stress level, so I'm going to get into here, so we'll say into here is 1, 2, 3, maybe put us here, 4, 5, 6. Like, I have a few seasons before I'm going to get Akira. Akira's the king of phobies. Akira is, in all seriousness, might break phobies for me. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird because it's going to do such ridiculous things. You know, in probably 3 seasons, we're gonna start seeing a big uptick in Akira's, depending on how hard people push for it. And honestly, I'm a little concerned. I don't know whether Akira is going to be fun to play with or against, or it's just going to be absolutely asinine. It'll be complete chaos. That's what I'm concerned with. The chaos could be fun, or it could be absolutely miserable because these games just devolve into such lunacy that it is not desirable to play. I'm not saying that will happen, and I don't want people to take this, oh my god, Chomp is saying Phobies is going to die or something, but like, Akira's ability is just so ridiculous that it kind of concerns me. But we got a little bit to worry about it. We got a little bit, and it's entirely possible that the other Phobies, which we still haven't seen, we lost our common big whales, that we're getting close to this. We don't know what these are. Maybe they're as insane as Akira. I was thinking Akira's ability can change. Like, first time it's a global pulls and then a global push. A coin, I don't want to say coin flip ability, but that was what came to mind. Like 2 sides of the same coin. Something like that would be interesting, but it would be a lot of card text to explain. I don't think it's impossible for a Phobie to get an ability like that. I think that would be kind of cool. And I have to wonder, did Attractor and Repeller start as that? And then they said, no, that's too complicated. Let's split it into 2 Phobies. Because the numbers of Phobies on each release is kind of weird. I guess they need to be multiples of 4. I think we got, what, 13 in full disclosure, and 5 of them were stress levels, so 8 as the others. I don't really remember. Don't quite remember. Alright, that's going to do it for the Phobies portion of the stream. I'm going to switch over for a little variety, but I just want to let everybody know, hit up the Random Thoughts Discord. Come by the live stream, RTChompGG, over on Twitch. And of course, if you've been enjoying the videos, you want to see more, the likes and subscribes do seriously help trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. But that's going to do it for this time, everybody. So as always, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And Black Lives Matter.